Hey folks, how's it going today? Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend and spent your time doing whatever makes you happy. I personally decided to, sit down, actually write a script for once, and record and edit this new video you're watching right now. First of all, let me just say that I appreciate the comments in my last video. To be honest with you, I wasn't really expecting anyone to actually find my video and watch it, but to everyone that did, I am truly grateful, and your support only helps fuel my motivation to pump out even more content in the future. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate y'all, and like I've said before, I'll definitely try to keep you all entertained while you're on my channel, and if I don't, please be sure to suggest any ideas for new videos in the comment section. With that being said, how about we finally start the video? Let's get into it then. So you probably read the title and already have a pretty good idea about what I'm about to rant today. Naturally, we can agree collectively that this topic is regarded with the same amount of importance and decor as the moon landing in 1969, or the invention of the wheel 6,000 years ago. It has been dubbed the most anticipated event in history and has been the sole cause behind the thousands of awful clickbait and AI-generated videos that are plaguing the algorithm and your recommendations whenever you make the rookie mistake of looking it up on YouTube. However, the million-dollar question still remains unanswered. Where in the blue hell is GTA 6? Okay, in all seriousness, the release of the next title in the Grand Theft Auto franchise may not be the most important event in history, or even the most popular thing going on at the moment, but we certainly cannot deny that it is one of the most interesting products that may release this year. Big emphasis on the may release part, by the way, given some recent developments and controversies that Rockstar Games has been roped into. We know that Rockstar Games hasn't exactly had a fun time ever since they first announced that they were working on the new title in an article published in their website through their official newswire back in 2022. Despite the message being rather brief and not providing much more information other than confirming the in-development status of the game, the announcement was huge to say the least. People everywhere were talking about it for weeks, and it generated an unimaginable amount of hype that very few games could even dream to garner. However, not everything was sunshine and rainbows following this announcement. If anything, it was only the beginning of a series of headaches and issues that the company was going to face moving forward. Multiple delays, pushing the release date from an initial fall 2025 window to November 19, 2026. Ariane Courtage, an 18-year-old member of the hacking group Lapsus, leaked over 90 video clips and source code of GTA 6 while unveiled for hacking other companies like Nvidia and BT, which obviously lit a fire under Rockstar's ass for a while. The termination of 34 employees across its UK and Canadian studios, accusing them of gross misconduct for allegedly sharing confidential information about upcoming titles in public forums. The alleged implication of Rockstar Games' key figures in the Epstein files, which I will not be talking about it too much this video, just because I know that's a whole another can of worms that I really don't want to open right now, but maybe in the future. And of course, the most recent hacking of the company's servers by the hacker group known as Shiny Hunters, which released 78.6 million stolen confidential records from the game developer out in the wild after not being paid the ransom that they demanded from the company. Long story short, it's been a shit show for them. Despite Rockstar Games finally claiming that the game has been set to release on November 19th this year, and with multiple sources claiming that this is the real release date for sure, one can only wonder if this is true, or just some more BS that is just gonna end up in another announcement of this type. After all, there really hasn't been any more news about the game or any extra information or media provided by Rockstar since the release of the second trailer back in May 6th of last year, which is, in my very inexpert opinion, kind of strange. I mean, yeah, we've got a bunch of screenshots and lore on the characters, the locations, wildlife, and glimpses of the story here and there, which seem to be a Bonnie and Clyde inspired type of story, which if you ask me is exactly the kind of vibe I'm looking for in this game. But if there's anything that Red Dead Redemption 2 left me with other than a paralyzing phobia of tuberculosis and a love and respect for westerns, was the need for a more serious story in the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Like, of course, we got that before with GTA 4, the darkest and grittiest of them all, as Reddit loves to proclaim. But let's be honest, GTA 5, as amazing and iconic as it is, the story just doesn't hit the same way that GTA 4's did. Rockstar wanting a more easygoing and less dramatic, edgy storyline isn't a bad thing, of course, but I believe I can speak for a great majority of people when I say that it could have been a little more spicy. No, not in that way. I mean, Okay, maybe. But what I mean is just having a story with a slightly more serious and dramatic tone. I think you guys can understand where I'm coming from with that, especially if you played GTA 4 at some point and enjoyed it as much as I did. I guess it is due to that specific thought that I decided to make this video, not to mention that the lack of any new content or information regarding the game kind of works in my favor, since I'm still able to speculate on things, features, and elements that may appear in the final product once it finally releases. So yeah, this is going to be a little rant about how this dumbass bunny wants the new GTA to look like once we have the opportunity to pop it into our consoles or fire it up digitally. To make it a little easier to digest and organize, I'll be dividing the video into 5 sections where I would go into detail about my vision for GTA 6. The sections will be story, characters, world and features, weapons and vehicles, and finally, online. Ah yes, the story. Just like I like my games. Dark and gritty. Okay, alright, fine, enough about that joke. I am aware that I already mentioned a little bit about the tone that I like the storyline to have. Something more mature and smart. More Red.II and less GTA 5. But I understand that doesn't exactly paint the full picture of what I'd like the story to look like. Personally, I don't mind the over-the-top action and crazy stuff that usually happens in every GTA game. You know, pulling down a house in the hills with a pickup truck, burying a construction foreman stuck in a porta potty in a ditch and fill it with concrete for catcalling your sister, robbing a bank and shooting dozens of cops in the process while escaping through the subway tunnels of a major city. You know, just the average GTA craziness. I like that a lot, and I want to see more of that in this next entry. And I guess in a way we have, judging by some of the insane shots provided to us in both trailers. You know, explosions, car chases, shootouts, street racing. I mean, some of the scenes look straight out of a Fast and Furious movie, which can be a compliment depending on which movie you're talking about, I guess. But at the same time, I would like to see a balance of that crazy, over-the-top action with missions that can parallel some of the most amazing and serious storytelling moments of games like Red.II and GTA 4. The potential for Rockstar to deeply explore Lucia's and Jason's characters, as well as how their relationship works in-game, sounds amazing in my opinion. We know that Rockstar has always delivered in terms of memorable storylines in many of their other titles. So I believe that a story told from the perspective of 2 criminals in love who are desperately trying to stay alive and keep their relationship intact while surrounded by shady and unscrupulous characters and trying to make it in a violent city where problems and dangers seem impossible to avoid given their life choices is just a perfect recipe for a game that will generate the same amount of immersion and passion that Red Dead Redemption 2 evoked in millions of players. You might say that my standards are being set too high, using Red Dead Redemption 2 as an example. But let's not forget that these 2 games were developed by the same company. Perhaps there will be different people managing this upcoming storyline, but we can still hope for the best and expect performances, dialogue, and moments that will take our breath away. Now, I know this might be completely not related to the story, but it plays a big part in them, and I think that the mission structuring is also something I would like to see a change in. Now, we all know that Rockstar has a knack for cinematic experiences in their games. The shots, fixed mission objectives, and the way the game metaphorically holds your hand to make certain scenes more dramatic and impactful is something that I respect and I like, but I'm not really crazy about anymore. Just hear me out, okay? Don't crucify me just yet. I love that cinematic aspect to these games, but I feel like it's not exactly super necessary to have them do it all the time, you know? Like, it's not super necessary to have a cinematic that needs to be approached in a certain way for it to actually work, if that makes sense. I wish we could have a little more freedom in the missions, even if they're fixed objectives, but at least allow us to complete the mission in different ways to bring a replayability factor to the missions that differ from simply just getting a gold medal for completing the mission under a certain time. Like, I don't exactly consider that fun or even worth playing through the same mission several times. Like, I personally don't think that this time trial thingy is even fun or something that's even worth doing. I guess for some people it is, considering that some people really like to trophy hunt, but my personal opinion, it's not really worth it. So honestly, it would be nice to see Rockstar give us more options when it comes to how to approach missions. Maybe go with a stealth approach if you're, for example, robbing a bank or a store, or, you know, go loud and stupid and just, you know, do it the GTA way, if you want to call it that. But I believe that Rockstar has the ability to do this, but them wanting to do it, that's another thing. Okay, so thanks to the 2 trailers as well as the official Rockstar website, we can actually see that this game will have a very interesting cast of characters to say the least. Naturally, it wouldn't be odd for us to focus a little more on Lucia and Jason, since they are the 2 main characters and the ones that we will probably be seeing the most on screen, depending on who you prefer to play as. Now, I know I can't be the only one, but I genuinely am excited to see Lucia in action. I'm not denying that Jason's backstory as being an ex-military man who was raised by criminals and grifters isn't interesting, but let's be honest. Lucia is the first female protagonist the franchise has ever had. Okay, maybe not if you consider the female protagonists in GTA 1 and the game color version of GTA 2 as the true first female leads the franchise has ever had. But if you ask me, I personally don't count them, since the protagonists in the original GTA 1 and 2 had the personality of a block of cheese. Seriously, all the protagonists were blank slates in those games. I mean, they're pretty old games. There's only so much you can do with limited hardware, you know? That's the reason I consider Lucia the first female protagonist the franchise has ever truly had, and I'm very curious to see how Rockstar handles her personality and character traits as a badass Latina criminal who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty, but who also doesn't shy away from showing a softer side to her partner like we've seen in the trailers. There might be another reason why I like Lucia already, and that's because she's Hispanic. I love seeing Latino representation in media, so you can imagine how I reacted when I found out the next GTA game was going to have a female Hispanic lead. That's what I'm talking about! Moving on from that, let me say that the cast being pretty diverse is very nice to see, and definitely not uncommon for Rockstar to have. We have people from all walks of life appearing in this game. Everything ranging from conspiracy theorists, entrepreneurs, drug runners, music artists, hustlers, bank robbers, and definitely many more we've only seen in passing or mentioned. I think that a cast this diverse provides so many opportunities for unique missions and settings that can bring GTA 6 to the next level. And although there's probably not going to be anything even remotely similar to how the Vanderlyn gang existed in Red Dead Redemption 2, with so many unique characters and backgrounds that interact with each other with so much frequency and realistically, it still makes me think that Rockstar has the potential to flesh out these characters in a beautiful way. A way that will provide us with realistic and unique fictional bonds that will make the player even more immersed and forget that they're even playing a game. Of course, I'm just talking out of my ass here, but hey, you can't blame an idiot for dreaming a little. Obviously, I will say I really would like to see some characters from GTA 4 and GTA 5 coming back, even just as cameos, just like the way Packy came back in GTA 5, maybe Franklin coming back, Trevor. I mean, we already saw, obviously, Franklin, Lamar, and Michael and Amanda come back in the newest, expansions for GTA Online. But imagine seeing some classic characters from GTA 4 make an appearance in GTA 6. Honestly, I can only speculate because, like we said, I don't really have an idea about what Rockstar is going to do with these characters. I'm only speculating here, so yeah, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Now this is where it gets very interesting. Vice City obviously seems like the place where most of the fun is going to take place, and where most players will be spending most of their time during the first hours of gameplay, either just finding references to GTA Vice City, or simply just finding out what the city has to offer. However, judging by these shots, we can tell that Vice City is just a small slice of the pie. We have urban locations such as Port Gellhorn, the Leonida Keys, and Ambrosia, which seem to work as small towns located within the state, and which I predict are probably going to become the home of one or both protagonists when they're inevitably ran off from the city like it happens in most GTA games, which in my opinion is a smart way to encourage the player to explore the map through the main story. Leonida is a fictional state based on the beautifully bizarre land of Florida, a land that I have not yet had the privilege of visiting in person, but judging from the Florida Man footage and genuinely unsettling stuff I've witnessed online about that state, you best believe that your man is excited to see what wild and feral places like the Grass Rivers and Mount Calaga National Park has to offer. In all odds, probably a bunch of hostile and dangerous wildlife living near communities of stupidly angry rednecks that want to eat outsiders and do all kinds of weird stuff, family style, if you get what I mean. I can honestly imagine a form of nightfolk or altruists making an appearance in the game, since Rockstar loves to add creepy and disturbing NPCs or events that lead to a bigger mystery in-game. So honestly, at this rate, I can expect everything from UFOs, ghosts, fucking cryptids, anything to appear in this game. Who knows? This game is going to be massive, obviously. This actually ties into another feature I'm actually really hoping Rockstar continues implementing into their games to make the world feel more alive and vibrant. And that feature is random events or strangers and freaks missions. I'm sorry, but the number of random events, freaky locations, crazy items, and interesting people you can meet in GTA 5 is laughable compared to the number of events and locations that appear in Red.II. Events like the Hermit, the UFOs, the Nightfolk attacks, the freaking skeleton of that giant snake you can find, the ghost lady of Lemoyne, the vampire of Saint Denis, are just a few examples of excellent side content that I desperately would like to see in this new GTA game. Of course, these events can happen all over the map, and some of them can even be continued once you trigger them at a certain location, or just by returning to the same location, like with the homicidal prostitute in the small town of Valentine, or the insane gunsmith from Rhodes in Red Dead Redemption 2. Other than all this, I would also like to see just the random, just customizable options to come back when it comes to just how to make your character your own. Bring back the hairstylist, bring back the tattoo man, bring back maybe even a gym feature to have your characters either be like super buff or they can be fat as fuck, like CJ in GTA San Andreas. At this rate, this would be a massive, massive amount of effort that Rockstar would put in to making these features a reality. But let's be honest, Rockstar has a lot of money, to say the least. So them making these features and putting them into the game wouldn't be impossible, at least in my opinion. And to end this segment, I will mention that I won't really get too much into the map itself, since we virtually know nothing about how it looks and how it's structured. Obviously, there's people who have been doing the whole mapping project on Reddit, but let's be honest, these are not really reliable, and at the end of the day, things can change and the map can look completely different to the prototype that they're creating. So I won't get too much into how the map should be structured, but I have heard rumors online that there could be a second state we could potentially visit in-game, like the state of Alderney and the state of Liberty in GTA 4. Personally, I'm not really convinced, since most of the evidence that exists that supports this theory is literally just a few license plates with the name Gloriana on them. So, my personal opinion, take this with a grain of salt if you do. Another feature I would like to see would be a redo of the hanging out feature that was present in GTA 5 and 4. It'd honestly be super cool if we could hang out with our partner or a friend or get some lore in the form of, conversations while driving to a bar, a club, or to go fishing, or even a bowling alley if they want to, bring that back from GTA 4. The feature has been available in previous titles, and, it always felt a little bare bones to me in GTA 5, so honestly, it would be nice for Rockstar to do this in their new title. Additionally, I know that most people have heard that rumor about GTA 6 having like 80% of their interiors or like enterable interiors or something like that. And while, yes, I would love to see more interiors and enterable buildings in the game, like, for example, that's one of the features that I really, really missed in GTA 5, like not being able to go to a burger shot or a Cluck and Bell for a quick meal to fill up your health or to rob it was kind of a letdown in my opinion. So maybe, we could see Rockstar having a nostalgia boner and deciding to bring back even the mall from GTA Vice City and also allow you to get food at certain locations and actually enter restaurants and stuff. I mean, I think that would be pretty damn sweet, but who knows? And before I end this segment, can I just say that I'm actually really excited to check out the radio stations in GTA 6? Like, honestly, I'm expecting something like GTA 5. Please, give us something like Yacht Rock, give us 80s Miami pop, give us southern rap, give us reggae, give us a shitload of Latin music, and you'll have me happy. Obviously, there's probably going to be way more music in the game. Probably even K-pop at this point, because obviously that's become like very mainstream. So, I don't know. I can't really talk much about the radio stations and stuff, because there's not really a lot of information about it, so I can only speculate. Now, I know that most people are expecting something along the lines of a mixture between Red.II and GTA 5's customization / gunplay for GTA 6, and honestly, it's not bad. It's, pretty standard to think that Rockstar is going to be building upon the mechanics of their old games to make the new game better. But at the same time, I would feel a little weird about it if they just decided to go with a targeting system or, the shooting mechanics from GTA 5. I never was super crazy about the gunplay in GTA 5, but in my opinion, it was mostly just because of the fact that the physics weren't as fun to play around or to see on screen like it was with GTA 4, which had more of a ragdoll feel to them. And even though it didn't, look super realistic, and in fact it looked very ridiculous at times, it still provided a level of satisfaction that GTA 5 just didn't do for me, at least in terms of gunplay. I also think that the guns in GTA 6 could be a little more realistic, the feel to them, like the handguns and assault rifles, shotguns, submachine guns kind of felt very similar to each other in GTA 5. And I know they programmed a lot of guns, and obviously it's a lot of effort to make guns feel different, but, Rockstar has the time and has the effort and the talent to make this happen in GTA 6. I think it's a pretty standard request, in my opinion. The cover system could also use an overhaul. Make it a little more dynamic and strategic for players to choose where to get some cover during a gunfight. Maybe even have cover that gets more and more damage in a gunfight and eventually will stop granting protection to the player if enough damage is done to it. Like a barrier or a trash container or a desk, furniture in general would be nice to see. But, like I said, destructible cover would be interesting to have in a game like this. I've also heard that some people would like to see the gun cleaning feature or the saddle function come back in some way. What I mean by saddle function is the feature in Red Dead Redemption 2 where you could store outfits, guns, items in your saddle when you were, out in the wild, just roaming across the Red Dead Redemption 2 map, and you could just change your outfits on the fly. You could pick your guns whenever you wanted to get down from your horse and go into a gunfight. Obviously, these come with limitations because, you could only carry a certain amount of outfits, or if you're going to a gunfight, you could only carry with you a certain amount of guns. And, it provided, that limited function in battle. But I personally feel like it wasn't that bad. I think, if anything, it kind of made players think a little more strategically on how to approach gunfights. So, hey, I think that would be fun to work it into a function for this game, especially if Rockstar decides to go with a more realistic approach for gunplay. So, who knows? We might see this, we might not. If anything, we might just see Rockstar give us the old weapon wheel and just give us the ability to pull out an RPG out of our asses at any time and place. The vehicles we've seen in the trailers, however, seem to be quite unique. A lot of them we can recognize from GTA Online, GTA 4, and 5. And I don't really expect Rockstar to import every single vehicle available in GTA Online, since the amount of time and effort to import 800 fucking vehicles would probably drive any sensible game dev to blow their brains out. Like, seriously, I don't think there's anything wrong if Rockstar just decides to give us, maybe a selection of 300, 400 vehicles in the game. I'm cool with just getting all the usual car styles that you usually see in America. Muscle cars, coupes, SUVs, sport cars, exotic cars, planes, boats, anything except the Oppressor Mark II. Like, I'm serious, Rockstar. You can add that shit to the online, but don't turn GTA into Saints Row 4 by adding this shit to the single-player experience of the game. Or at least if you're going to add it, do it right at the end, when people are enjoying the story and finishing everything, so that, things don't feel too crazy and out of place. And finally, the driving mechanics. I know I probably sound like a broken record by now, but I would love to see a form of the GTA 4 driving mechanics to make a comeback. Not to say that I want it to be exactly like GTA 4, because at the same time I do want something new in GTA 6 in terms of these mechanics, but I did think that the mechanics in GTA 5 were fun as well. They were just different, they felt more arcadey, they felt more easy to master. I guess in my opinion, I would just like to see Rockstar to program a more realistic feel to cars, you know, maybe make SUVs feel more heavy, but at the same time powerful, and just, you know, be able to do damage to other cars more easily, you know, make exotic cars to be more agile, maybe difficult to, you know, drive under certain circumstances. Obviously, we know that Rockstar does put a lot of effort into just the driving mechanics. You know, we've seen that with like the effects that happen when you're driving on a wet road, or when you're driving on sand, or when you're driving through a patch of wilderness. You know, we've seen that. So I would just like a more realistic approach to the driving mechanics, and that would just be it. I personally think I would be happy with that. And just like that, we reached the final stretch of this video. Oh yeah, baby, this is the section where all the shark card enjoyers and whales are going to go crazy. I just know it. Well, I hate to disappoint, but I kind of don't really have lots of expectations or much to say about the online component of GTA 6. Not that I won't try it, but I'll let you in a little secret of mine. I've never been super crazy about online gaming. Not to say that I don't enjoy it at all or anything like that. I've actually spent quite some time on GTA Online myself, after all, and actually played countless other multiplayer games before, but it's never been my favorite type of game. I guess I would like to see a more grounded version of GTA Online, maybe like what we got at the start of GTA Online back in 2013, 2014, when the Presser Mark II, the bunkers, the submarines, and the Colombian islands owned by drug lords were just dreams and ideas cooking up in some Rockstar Games developer's head. So yeah, just give us some interesting missions, don't pay us pennies for completing long-ass difficult missions, and allow us to make our own characters, and you bet I'll be parking my virtual ass in some lobby in November. I honestly feel a little bad because I wish I could say, you know, that I would really like to see these aspects in multiplayer games, online multiplayer games, but I don't know enough about it to actually formulate a good opinion on it. So hey, if you guys have any ideas about what the GTA Online 2 experience should look like, just leave them in the comments. Honestly, I'll probably read them, and you know, I'll tell you what I think. In conclusion, this is the vision of what would be the perfect GTA 6 for me, guys. I honestly could have gone more into detail about so many more features and things about the game, but personally don't want to bore you by just hearing my nonsensical speculations for like an hour, so allow me to spare you from all that, and let me just take a moment to thank you for watching this video. It honestly took me a while to get the script and editing for this video together, but in the end it all came together beautifully, and I'm actually kind of proud of making such a structured video after the mess that my first video was. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you giving me another little piece of your time today, and I hope that you have an excellent day ahead of you. Please leave any comments or thoughts in the comment section. I'll be sure to go through them, and you know, please like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and take care now. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.